Welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be discussing something that has been very popular recently, and it's been all over the news, and that is the Part D prescription drug subsidies expiring. Okay, we're going to explain the facts. This is not a political video. This is just kind of giving you guys the facts and what's going on in the simplest terms as we can possibly give you. A lot of the stuff you're seeing online is a lot of fear-based. It's a lot of, left versus right, and they want you to get confused. They want you to get freaked out. So we're going to make this as easy as we possibly can. So these subsidies, so essentially the Part D subsidies, what happened was under Biden, they had, a part of the Inflation Reduction Act was lowering drug costs to the members, right? Previously, years ago, there was something called the donut hole, which some of you might know, and that's where people would get into this donut hole and their medications could be very expensive. And so under the Inflation Reduction Act, it capped, in 2025 at $2,000 a year for members for their drug costs. And so what ended up happening is obviously there's these standalone prescription drug carriers see that and they're like, whoa, right? That's going to be a lot of money kind of falling onto us now. And so the government was basically help subsidizing this so that the members, Medicare beneficiaries, were not impacted by these costs, right? Because inevitably the insurance companies would have increased their premium for the drug plans because now they're essentially paying more, right, for these drug costs. So these subsidies, guys, were meant to expire. Okay, they were not supposed to be a permanent thing. They were set to expire. So what does this really mean? So starting in 2027, these subsidies are going away. And essentially now what we're going to be looking at is these standalone drug plans that you may be enrolled in or have a family or friend enrolled in might have a cost to it. A lot of the Medicare prescription drug plans this year, the standalone drug plans, were very low costs in some areas. And so now we're expecting there might be even more, right, premium. You're going to a lot of people on standalone drug plans are probably going to see an increase in their premium because that subsidy is now gone starting next year. We don't know how much, we don't know what areas, what plans. Your plan may not see any increase, or it may see a significant increase. We're not exactly sure. But that is what's happening. So these subsidies, once again, were set to expire. It was essentially the government's way of subsidizing these plans and helping alleviate some of that, those skyrocketing premiums that you may have faced because of capping drug costs at $2,000, right? The government saying, hey, no, big insurance companies are going to not like this, so they're going to subsidize to essentially alleviate that onto you as the member. Now, it's very important to know this. This only applies to standalone Part D plans, okay? Medicare Advantage plans, as we know, have drug coverage included in their plan. This does not apply to Medicare Advantage plans. This only applies to, standalone prescription drug plans, which for the vast majority of people that have a standalone prescription drug plan, those are people that have original Medicare and a Medicare supplement. They're going to be impacted by the subsidies expiring at the beginning of next year. So that's the gist of it. That's really as simple as I can make it. I hope this video helped kind of dummy it down a little bit. When I say dummy it down, I don't mean that you guys are dummies. I'm a dummy when it comes to this as well, especially when it comes to getting your news online, right? When I first read what was happening, I was even confused until I dug into it and I kind of got to the brass tacks of like, okay, here's what they're actually saying, but take away all the political nonsense, take away all of the confusion and fear tactics. Here's actually what it is. And that's what it is. So once again, to kind of recap for you guys, Inflation Reduction Act passed in their bill that they were going to subsidize Part D premiums because of them capping Medicare costs at $2,000 for 2025. These drug Part D carriers were going to increase their costs. And so the government was like, hey, we'll subsidize that so the members aren't going to have that. That is now expiring. And so now we may see some premium increases on standalone Part D plans. Once again, we don't know how much or what plans or what areas, but you'll definitely know coming up maybe end of September, October, especially October, about what your plan is going to go to and what plans in the area are going to look like as far as premiums, and then we can make the correct changes if necessary. So I hope this video helps you guys understand what is going on, and if you guys have specific questions on what's happening or how it may impact your coverage, please feel free to reach out to me. All of my info is in the bio as always. So I hope you guys have a great day.